Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. Let's talk about the short-term bullish and short-term bearish scenarios. We are first of all still in a clearly corrective structure. There's absolutely zero evidence that this correction is over. We're moving down in corrective patterns, up in corrective patterns, down in corrective patterns, and it doesn't leave us a clear path on the micro level, and other than lots of different potentials that actually could unfold. So I try to share typically like two with you, two of these potentials that I find most likely. But yeah, I mean, in reality, it could turn into, a large ABC structure. It could turn into a WXY structure. It could even turn into some kind of a triangle pattern here. So lots of potentials, but it's not really so important to know about the microstructure. We still track them, the structures, because otherwise it would be really boring in these corrections. Also, these microstructures allow us to define some key pivot points, and alternative scenarios. For example, if the price breaks below key support, which is the $2,975 level, that's quite an important level that is relevant for the current interpretation of the ETH chart, especially on the daily time frame. I'll show you that now. If we go to the daily chart for ETH daily, then you can actually see here the in the white count, which is currently the preferred scenario. 1 second. You can actually see here the idea that this is a 1, 2, 3. This would be wave 4, and that $2,975 level is just quite important for that. That we're holding this level to maintain the perspective that this is circle wave 4. I mean, if that level breaks, I need to swap things around, and there are many other options that I could go with here for ETH, but probably the next best option would be to see it as a wave 4 in a larger diagonal pattern. There are also problems with that. I will continue to work on possible alternatives, but for now, the $2,975 level is really very important, and I am looking for ways that the chart could take to hold 2,975, and that would hinge on the market's ability to put in a little bit of a larger B wave there. So let's talk about the short-term bullish and short-term bearish counts. Let's start with the white scenario, which actually shows what would happen if the price decides to break below 2,975, that critical support level. We would then probably be looking at a WXY structure, and in this Y wave, the C wave might take us down to 2,742 or a little bit lower. One of these fib levels here, 2,560 is the next one below that. And that's based on a measurement of the wave W to the downside, which is a complex part of a complex correction, which bottomed around 3,100. Then we had an X wave rally, and based on that we can calculate an ideal Fibonacci range for wave Y, and that points towards these areas down here. But if we then look at the Y wave itself, obviously it's an ABC structure. Also, again, in the white count, we have an A wave down. Possibly the B wave is still in the making. And then we could get a C wave down. And funny enough, just looking at fib projections, if this is really what's playing out, especially if the B wave goes a little higher, there's a good chance that even in this scenario, with the latest price action, we're actually holding 2,975. I mean, it's still very fragile because Ether has really shown some weakness compared to Bitcoin recently, but still there is a realistic chance we're holding 2,975. And it feels a bit like the situation has a bit improved on the chart, and probabilities for that level to hold. It's not broken, so at the moment there's no reason to expect it to break, but I'm just, getting a bit, not nervous, but my confidence in Ether's ability to hold that level did reduce But obviously, as long as we're holding support, I'm not telling you it's going to break. So we'll keep the door open for higher. And I would expect this level to be tested though. So let's see if that happens. Support range is clear anyway. But in the white count, yeah, I showed you the pathway. That's sort of short-term bearish, even though in the very short term, in the white count, in this Y wave, the B wave here could still be unfolding, okay? And then we've got the yellow count in which we have a large A, B, C structure. I don't see any evidence for that at this stage. It's possible, but then within this larger B wave, the A wave already topped, the B wave likely bottomed, and we're now rallying in a C wave. There's absolutely no evidence for that C, and it would take, either an impulse or the beginning of at least a diagonal to suggest that this wave C of B in the yellow count is unfolding. There's nothing there at this stage. So we have to remain flexible. It's clearly still corrective price action, which rather suggests that this correction might still carry on for a bit. That's my update about Ether. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.